Hi, hello, and welcome everyone to the second semi-final of KVizzing with the Comedians Season 2. Not Season 2, the second edition. I'm going to call each contestant right now, one by one. The first contestant has been one of the best performers of this entire tournament so far. He also, as expected, did really well in the quarterfinal earlier, and won quarterfinal 6 with a huge margin. Give it up for Aakash Mehta.
Hello. Hi, guys. Hello, guys.
Okay, the next contestant has had a different journey than Aakash because this was his first tournament. He came in the first quarterfinal and just took everyone by surprise. And the reason why a lot of people in the chat were writing family OP, in-laws OP, is because similar to Aakash's run in the first edition, the next contestant also has stories about every answer of how he got those answers. Like literally got one answer because his brother-in-law had gone to Turkey for honeymoon. So give it up for Abbas Dalal.
Woo!
Hi, Abbas bhai.
KV bhai, Aakash bhai.
Hello, Abbas bhai.
Next up is like I said earlier, one of the biggest advocates of this tournament, and that is one reason I'm really excited to call her in another semi-final, an ex-semi-finalist, Mallika Dua.
Woo. Hello, hi.
Woohoo!
Hey.
Hi.
कैसे हो?
Hello, Mallika. I've been looking forward to this.
I haven't. But listen, Abbas की पूरी family आई है. My family doesn't give a fuck मैं क्या कर रही हूँ life. So sad.
Okay, on that familiar note, let me call the last contestant on this semi-final. Like I said in the beginning, is one of my favorite quiz masters, favorite person to see his face on any quiz that I ever do on this screen. Give it up for Vaibhav Setia.
Hey guys.
Okay, yeah. Can we start? Let's start. Before we start, I want to.
Are my in-laws ready?
They've already done whatever they had to do. Giving me the experiences.
Oh man. So before we had a great semi-final first. Well, we had a great first semi-final in case you guys weren't following. It went down to the last question, and Neville Shah won it on the last question. And he is the first finalist of this edition now. In the over the course of next 24 questions, we will know who joins Neville Shah from this semi-final. Okay. First question to Aakash. Oprah Winfrey's eponymous talk show, the famous talk show that she does, is one of the most popular shows of all time. We know that. One of its most famous episodes aired on 13 September 2004, which left everyone in the audience, so everyone in the live audience, which were watching the car. Yeah, that is correct.
Gave everybody a car and then they went crazy. Did you know they didn't pay tax on those cars and the audience members had to pay the tax themselves and a lot of them went bankrupt trying to pay the tax.
Not everyone is Sachin Tendulkar, so they don't get what happened in this. I'll anyway complete for the audience in case anyone is still trying to figure. Aakash is too fast. What happened in this episode of Oprah that was so startling that's still a popular reference 15 years later. And as Aakash said, she gave everyone a car, and that gave rise to this meme that we keep seeing as GIFs and as meme on internet. Where you get a car, you get a car, you get a car. So everyone got a car. Everyone actually got Pontiac G6, and Aakash gets a point. Everyone gets 10 points. 10 points to Aakash. What a great start to the quiz. You get a car is correct. Okay, next direct to Abbas now. Etymology question. Okay, the ancient Greeks were astrologers. I mean, astrology was a big thing in ancient Greece.
Right.
They looked at stars and they used to predict illness, earthquakes, floods, etc.
Correct.
Now, the word dash, which is ubiquitous now, okay, it's very commonly used word. It's a portmanteau. So portmanteaus are words that combine two different words and they become one. So this word is a combination of the first half is what the word bad means in Greek. The first half basically means bad, and the second half is what you call star in Greek. Okay.
Star.
What word are we? Star. So what word are we talking about, which is used to describe calamities? So एक बार सारा hint देखते हैं, ठीक है? Basic word का usage तब आता है जब हम calamities को describe कर रहे होते हैं, ठीक है? और वर्ड का ओरिजिन दिया हुआ है फर्स्ट हाफ या जो प्रीफिक्स है जो स्टार्ट होता है that means bad and the second half का जो root है, that comes from Greek word for star.
Star.
So इसको मिला के what word are we
So,
talking about?
bad और star को मिला के ये word बनता है.
Correct. Yes. Bad और star को मिला के और
Another word for calamity can be destruction, but destruction is obviously not derived from the Greek language. Is it catastrophe or catastrophe? I don't know how to pronounce it, but is
catastrophe? Not catastrophe. Going to Mallika now.
You said it's ubiquitous, so we like use it, right?
Yeah. It's not a very niche word, very commonly used word.
Prefix bad.
Prefix bad, and the second half is from the Greek word that means star.
Disaster.
Yeah, disaster is what I was looking for. 10 points to Mallika. Dis basically means bad, and aster comes from the Greek root astros. It's the same root that gives its name to astrology, astronomy. So
I thought of catastrophe too, honestly. If you hadn't said it, I would have said catastrophe.
I'm glad Mallika answered. मैं बोलने वाला था वाट लगने वाली वाट maybe.
सही होता वैसे तो.
ग्रीक लोग सब बैठ के डिस्कस कर रहे हैं क्या वाट लगा दिया रोमन लोग. ऐसा वो अपना.
Going to an auto question now, in the sense like the world of automobiles.
Acha.
This will be Vaibhav's direct. Vaibhav X is an Italian manufacturer of sports cars and carbon fiber components. This company is based in San Cesario, Silpanaro, near Modena in Italy, and was founded recently, in the sense like comparatively recently, 1992, by an Argentinian called Horacio X. Okay. Now the X and the manufacturer is the same, like say founded by Ratan Tata and companies Tata, like that. Okay. Who formerly managed Lamborghini's composites department as X Composite Research. He was so famous in Lamborghini that the entire research department was named after him. Now, last part of the clue is that in 2011, this company launched a car called Huayra, which is a 720 HP car and can accelerate from 0 to 60 mph in 0 to almost 100 kilometers per hour in just 3 seconds. Only 100 units of this car have been produced, each costing £1 million. So go through all the hints. Just tell me what manufacturer of sports car from Italy are we talking about?
92. I don't know any Italian parts from Ferrari. I think it was Italian Ferrari. I don't know. Is it Fiat?
No, Vaibhav, not yet. Going to Aakash.
I don't know the pronunciation, but it's Pagani. 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 जो दो में से.
Yeah, beautiful answer. Pagani, Pagani, whatever. That's fine. This is what
ये क्यों पता है तुझे?
ये मुझे पता है क्योंकि मेरे डैड ऑटो कार को सब्सक्राइब करते हैं और मैं हर महीने.
It often happens. Things that dad subscribe to, you read through क्या पूरा.
मतलब ऐसा घर पे रहता है तो देखता हूँ. And this was actually the car of the year, dude. This has like a V12 Mercedes engine in it. Like it's a beast of a car. So when I was in like 10th, 11th, I used to be into all this. So I had seen it's a great looking car, dude.
This in fact, Aakash is right. It's one beast of a car. That like when you see the stats, this is the car. The Huayra, like the Pagani Huayra that we're talking about, and this is that car which is insane. So yeah, Aakash gets 10 points on this. Beautiful answer. Now we go to Abbas. This is a visual question, so visual will help. Identify this person, this kid actually, who is with Muhammad Ali. So obviously, person on the back is Muhammad Ali, the legendary boxer.
Correct.
But we need to identify the kid who is on the right. The other clue is he has over 180 million Instagram followers. Okay. I just checked before the quiz started. He's now on 188 million, if that helps. So 188 million Instagram followers. That's the second hint. Just tell me who this kid is.
I think it's The Rock.
Yeah, beautiful answer. It is Dwayne The Rock Johnson. 10 points to Abbas.
जब आकाश भाई
The
टाइप
Rock.
के अच्छे बच्चे वो कार वार के पोस्टर लगाते थे ना रूम में, तो मैं पैमेला एंडरसन और रॉक के पोस्टर लगाता
Okay. Abbas got Dwayne The Rock Johnson, which means next to Mallika. Mallika, this is slightly longer question, but one of the more interesting questions of the group, of the quiz. Okay, so read carefully. For a long time, India was the major exporter of Dash. Okay, that Dash is a hint, that's why I've removed it. Though it was coarse and brown. Okay, by 13th century, Egyptians, and that's why it's in bold, Egyptians perfected the art of making the same thing, but clearer version of the coarse and brown version, and this is known as Y. Okay, even in today's world also we call it Y in India. Okay, later the Chinese ruler Kublai Khan को पता लगा कि यार ये क्या चल रहा है इधर, ये लोग क्या मस्त चीज बनाया, so he imported experts from Egypt and developed their own version of clear dash. Okay, and this was known as Z. इंडिया में हम लोग फिलहाल आज के डेट में इसको Y और Z ही बुलाते हैं. Y का ओरिजिन इजिप्ट से लेना देना है, Z का ओरिजिन चाइना से लेना देना है, बट ये सब चीज एसेंशियली सेम ही है. ओके, तो मैं एक बार रिवाइज कर देता हूँ क्रोनोलॉजी शुरू से. इंडिया यूज्ड टू बी मेजर एक्सपोर्टर ऑफ समथिंग फॉर अ लॉन्ग टाइम. ठीक है, ऑल्दो इट वाज कोर्स एंड ब्राउन, we still have a version of this in today's world also. Then 13th century में इजिप्ट वालों ने कुछ क्रैक किया और उन्होंने इसका क्लियर वर्जन बनाना शुरू कर दिया. ठीक है, जिसको हम अभी वाई बोलते हैं. फिर बाद में चाइना ने अपना एक वर्जन बनाया और उस वर्जन का जो नाम है वो भी चाइना की वजह से, चाइना से रिलेटेड है in some way. I want Y and Z. Y and Z are the names we still use in India.
Okay, so Y was a clearer version of something that India was making.
Yeah.
That was coarse and brown. Coarse and brown.
So it was coarse and brown, but then Egyptians made it clear.
Clear.
And like clear, like not coarse and brown anymore. Okay, I'm deliberately not giving the like color or whatever. And then China also made their own version of clear dash. And the big hint is Egypt, China, and the names that we still use has something to do with Egypt and China.
Okay. China. Clear. Okay, 1 second.
आराम से, टेक टाइम. थोड़ा कॉम्प्लिकेटेड है तो आप आराम से टाइम लेके. आंसर बहुत सिंपल है एज ऑलवेज, तो बट स्ट्रक्चर थोड़ा कॉम्प्लिकेटेड है, तो आप आराम से पढ़ लीजिए.
Kublai Khan imported experts from Egypt and thus developed their own. So it got clearer and clearer. It was coarse and brown to begin with.
Yes.
And they had names in Chinese and?
No, the name, like the answer of this question basically, like in the sense that Z and Y have a very direct China and Egypt connection. The names that we use अपने normal day-to-day life में.
Okay, if I know one of them and I don't know, I have to guess 3, no?
Yeah, but you can guess whatever. मतलब, you will get part points for whatever you crack.
Okay, is it Chini?
Okay.
And is the first one good?
Okay. I just want Y and Z. So Z you are saying is Chini. Y, do you have a guess on Y?
See, I know coarse and brown and China Chini. I don't know how
the middle one. Middle one is
yeah,
left now.
Yeah.
And I gave you a hint that something to do with like China से आपने चीनी निकाला, Egypt से क्या निकल सकता है? Just try once, otherwise I'll go to Vaibhav. You obviously get part points.
Chin. I don't know.
Okay, no stress. So now Z is Chini, okay, for all of you. And Mallika gets points for Z and also a bit extra point on the overall funda. But you still can get a shot at Y, okay? So starting with Vaibhav.
Oh fuck!
Vaibhav? Jaggery?
Not jaggery. Aakash.
पहले तो थैंक यू यार मल्लिका, तूने नहीं बोला होता तो मैं तो कॉटन के साइड पे लीन कर रहा था.
नहीं, he said coarse brown clear. I have thought of everything from alcohol to
नहीं,
gunpowder to I don't know.
मुझे तो लगा
tea,
मुसलमान
yeah.
लोग हैं जो पहले इंडिया में थे और थोड़े brown, जिनने थोड़े गोरे किए और फिर चाइना ने एकदम ही.
अब्बास ओपी इन चैट, कुछ जोक्स जो सिर्फ अब्बास क्रैक कर सकते हैं यहाँ पे.
Okay, Aakash.
I fucking have an idea now.
बोलना मॉम ग्रोसरीज मंगवाई होगी कहीं से, तेरे को पता होगा. मजाक.
I
Aakash.
think I know.
Mom groceries मंगाई.
आकाश. ये आकाश के लिए बोल रहे थे.
घास.
ये स्टोरीज होते हैं उसकी आंसर.
Okay, okay. अब्बास.
I think अगर चीन से चीनी है तो शुकर से शक्कर.
नहीं, not शुक्र से शक्कर. Okay, I will take one more round for Egypt thing.
Can I
this is a
guess?
hint. हाँ, मैं hint देता हूँ.
The
Hint is that think of what Egypt is called in Hindi or Sanskrit like in India. Okay, that's the hint. We'll start with
whose
Mallika.
turn is it?
Yours.
Misr.
But then so what will be what?
Misri
Misri is correct.
Yeah.
We're looking at sugar, Misri and Chini.
You
So,
नानो मिस्रो रोमा हमारे गाने में है ना तीनों शब्द.
Yunan is Greece and Egypt
Yeah.
is Misr. And
Oh.
sugar funda, you're talking about sugar, it used to be coarse and brown long time. Then Egypt cracked the funda and they made Misri and China made Chini. Okay.
Chini
So
I
Mallika
knew.
gets 5. Mallika gets 5 on Chini. In fact, more than 5, 6. And then, yeah, she gets all the points of
But what was it called in India when it was this thing in India when it was brown and coarse? Good only.
So good is one version. The other version is a word very similar to shakkar. Okay, so in Sanskrit and all it's called shakram, shakkar, ऐसे कर करके. But yeah, in that zone. But Mishri के लिए hint was needed. So Mallika gets a total of 8 points for this and not 10. No one else gets any points. So Mallika gets 8. It's sugar, Mishri,
Superb.
and Chini. Great answer. Great crack.
Great answer. Yeah.
Okay. Since Mallika got point, this is Vaibhav's direct. Vaibhav, a football question. Rigobert Song was the first footballer to receive 2 red cards in FIFA World Cups. Okay. He was the first footballer who got 2 red cards, one in 94 and one in 98. Who was the second player to do so? He replicated his feat in 1998 and 2006. Okay. So let's look at the question. There's one footballer who is called Rigobert Song. His only claim to fame or claim to infamy was that he got 2 red cards in 2 different World Cups. Then another player got a red card in 98 and then got another red card in 2006. Which football player are we talking about?
I really want to say Zidane again because he headbutted.
Yeah, ये तो मुझे भी पता है. मेरा बड़ा दिल टूटा था जब ये हुआ था.
I really want. If it's not Zidane, I'll kill myself. I have said Zidane to every football answer in my life. I really have because I don't know anything about football. But I'm just remembering there was one more guy who did something shitty. I remember seeing something. I'll just go Zidane for the headbutt, maybe. Yeah.
What's your final answer?
Zinedine Zidane.
Zinedine Zidane is correct. 10 points to
Oh,
Vaibhav for Zinedine Zidane.
Finally. Must.
Yeah.
Zinedine Zidane.
In my life, this has happened.
Zinedine Zidane
This
is correct. Zinedine Zidane headbutted Mario Materazzi.
Marco.
Marco Materazzi.
ये तो it's the only match I've ever seen in my life because I was in love with Zidane.
But that is
मुझे
the
बड़ा
only,
दुख हुआ था.
I have said Zidane as an answer to a football question to at least 200 football questions that have appeared in front of me. And finally, this is the moment I've waited.
Vaibhav Sethia gets Zinedine Zidane and 10 points. Going to Aakash now. Aakash, this is the photo of a person. This person's full name, एक लंबा सा नाम है, आप खुद पढ़ लें. He's commonly known as King Dash. Now, he's credited as being the founder of the Kingdom of Hawaii. However, his name is popular in today's world because of the protagonist of an anime. Okay. How do we know this person? So we've heard of this person because of the anime reference and not his Hawaiian kingdom reference. What is that dash? His common name is King
Hey,
Dash, and
this
you
is the
can go
Dragon
through the
Ball Z
big
question.
long.
This is the Dragon Ball Z question. Kin Kamehameha.
Yeah, perfect answer. It is
Ah,
King Kamehameha. Didn't want to read it because it would have made very obvious. King Kamehameha. 10 points to Aakash. 10 points there for Aakash.
I thought it was always Kamehameha, but like, yeah, it's fun.
Kamehameha. Okay. Next, direct to Abbas.
Yes, sir.
The story of RMS Titanic is well known, including the famous story of Rose and Jack, which of course is a fiction story. Titanic, as we all know, was an engineering marvel for the time it came. The ship was an ocean liner, okay? But the RMS letters before Titanic, RMS, denote a specific function fulfilled by the ship. What function does RMS denote? Titanic का पूरा नाम was RMS Titanic. We all know Titanic was like engineering marvel, ocean liner ship and all that, blah, 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 blah. But what does RMS mean? If not the full form, that's fine if you don't know the full form. If you can just tell me the specific function that RMS का मतलब था, क्यों था RMS नाम के आगे? Titanic also had one more function
Correct.
instead of whatever else it was happening on the ship.
Right.
What was the
Right.
specific work that RMS Titanic had to do?
So my guess is that Titanic was also a mail ship. So RMS का MS शायद mail ship. हाँ.
Yeah, beautiful answer. I'll
Mail
give it to you. It was a Royal Mail ship.
अच्छा Royal है. ठीक है. Okay.
Royal Mail ship responsible for delivering mail for British Postal Service.
जी, correct.
Great
correct,
answer
correct.
to Abbas. 10 points to Abbas.
What a great round this is, you guys. Oh my God.
Everyone's killing. Sugar, Mishri, Chini, Zidane, Kamehameha, Royal Mail ship.
सवाल कम करने पड़ने वाले हैं, sir.
That Kamehameha was
Kamehameha
घटिया. I'm just glad इसको मिला. इसको सारी फालतू चीजें पता है life में.
ये तो कितना, ये तो, did you not watch Dragon Ball Z growing up?
No.
Not at all. मैं तो हामेहा मिला देता बस.
कभी
Oh, man. Since Abbas got Royal Mail ship, this is direct for Mallika. Complete this exhaustive list of women associated with a famous achievement in a particular Olympic sport. Okay. These are the 5 people who have achieved this in the history of this sport. A particular thing they have done in this sport. Yelena Produnova, Yamilet Pena, Fadwa Mohammed from Egypt, Oksana Chusovitina from Uzbekistan, and Dash Dash from India. Okay. So basically you need to crack an Indian woman associated with a famous achievement in a particular Olympic sport.
I don't want to get this wrong.
No
I
problem,
mean,
take your time.
the answer is in one of the people's names, right? Like, is it Deepa Karmarkar?
Yeah, Deepak Karmakar.
Yeah, and
Karmakar is correct. 10 points to
Produnova.
him. Yeah, the answer was in one of them, like you said.
Yeah.
Produnova, it's named after Produnova. They are the only gymnasts to have successfully completed the Produnova.
nice.
Okay, Deepak Karmakar is correct. Which brings us to the end of the first half of the quiz. 12 questions are done. Let's look at the scores now. Aakash is on 30. Abbas is on 20. Mallika is on 28.
Oh man.
And Vaibhav is on 10. And Vaibhav, the 10 points that he has is because of his Zidane answer. In his mind, that's $1 million answer. For us, it's only 10. We know the importance of that answer.
already
Okay. Now we'll reverse the order. The order will be Vaibhav, Mallika, Abbas, Aakash. Okay, this will be Vaibhav's direct. Vaibhav, your direct. Wars of the Roses were a series of battles between Lancasters and Yorks, which were 2 noble families in Britain, basically, in British rule. Both of whom they believed that they deserved the crown, so they kept fighting. Okay, Wars of the Roses. A number of the major players in these conflicts were adapted into characters vying for power in similar ways in which book and on the television series based on the book. We are talking about a television series which is based on a book wherein a lot of characters vie for power And the inspiration for most of these characters comes from Wars of the Roses. And Wars of the Roses were a series of battles between these two battle families, Lancaster and York, in British history. And both of them thought that they deserved the crown, so they kept fighting.
It's Game of Thrones. Is it?
Yeah, that is correct. It is a Song of Ice and Fire or Game of Thrones. 10 points to Vaibhav. It's one of those days, huh, Vaibhav?
Hey, I thought they were based on a different book.
Sad.
Song of Ice and Fire or Game of Thrones. I would have accepted both. 10 points to Vaibhav. It is Game of Thrones. Okay, next direct to Mallika. The 27 Club is an unofficial list consisting mostly of popular musicians who have something in common. Okay, while there is no concrete research as such to support this phenomenon, a lot of people think that this happens because of the high-risk lifestyle of people from this profession. Some of the most iconic names of the 27 Club are Brian Jones, Jimi Hendrix, Janis Joplin, Kurt Cobain, Amy Winehouse. What is the membership criterion for this list? How does one become a part of the 27 Club?
Sorry, but is it suicide and like drug abuse? Suicide?
Good, like almost there, but I'm looking for a more generic answer because suicide and drug usage not necessarily is a connect in everyone in 27 Club.
Like
I'm asking you to be less specific or more generic.
ODing.
I'm asking you to be very simple. To be
Very
very simple,
simple.
not complicated.
Okay, death.
Yeah, death at 27 is what I was looking. The death doesn't necessarily have to be on OD or through suicide. It's just death at the age of 27.
But इनकी सबकी OD death नहीं थी.
ज़्यादातर की है. Like that's the theory. First of all, सब में like 50 theory है. From
Jimi Hendrix का
to Jim.
Sorry. So Jim Morrison का suicide नहीं था. He died in a tub of cardiac arrest.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. For all of them, there are so many theories. Like even in Jim Morrison, there are theories that France made.
Basically, they died when they were 27, is what is common.
Correct.
Yeah. That's the club.
So I didn't get it actually. So I didn't get the answer.
You got 10 points.
What is the full point? I didn't get the full point.
Yeah, you got full 10 points for saying death at the age of 27 because you said suicide. I asked you to make it.
But I didn't say 27. I thought they were just 27 musicians. And that's why it's 27. I didn't know that they were all 27 when they passed away. Oops.
No, but I said
what is...
Yeah, I actually thought you meant that.
What is the membership criteria? You said death. That's fine. We take the assumption. Yeah. 10 points.
तेरे को देना है तो मैं लेगी. हाँ.
तेरे को चाहिए तो कम पॉइंट ले सकते
हैं.
नहीं चलेगा. तभी कोई गंदा सा आएगा फिर तो आंसर कर देगा.
Yeah, actually answered, but it was pretty obvious where you meant that, I thought.
Yeah, I mean, you said
he's pretty famous. This
I didn't know they were 20. I didn't know that they were the same age when they passed away. I thought they were ODs or something happened. Yeah.
Okay, sure. I'm giving
just 5 points to
Mallika.
Of them. Yeah.
Sure. I'm only giving 5 to Mallika because, like, for whatever honesty and ethics, 5 points to Mallika, not 10. And we continue. The next question will be Abbas's.
Kya baat? Yes, sir.
Okay, 5 points to Mallika on that. This is another fun question. This is a portion from like a panel of the comic Asterix and the Chariot Race. Okay, you just need to tell me the character which is there in the comic. Okay, let's. So you can see there's a chariot. There's a guy on the chariot, and he's saying, "Here comes our favorite, straight from Rome, the champion with whatever many victories, the one they call the masked Orga, the great Dash, and his faithful Basilius." Okay, so this guy is coming with some faithful of his. The other hint I've added so that you can think on a certain track is the hint is Bacillus is a type of bacteria. What was the name of this character who all of us have heard of? All 5 of us and everyone in the audience, everyone knows like the answer. What was the name of this character?
दिख तो रहा है बेनहर के जैसा, but I don't know if I should say that क्योंकि अब ये मुझे थोड़ा हिंट के ऊपर सोचना पड़ेगा.
हाँ, हिंट मतलब there's a reason कि मैंने हिंट दिया है.
Correct. So it can't be Benner.
Thought का थोड़ा इस तरफ जाए. Yeah.
Dash Ennis. And we've all heard this name, right?
Yeah.
My father mentioned this lately. I think it was this only.
Yaar,
Mallika?
I'm just gonna say it. I don't know. Don't laugh at me for this. Is it Corona?
Can you improve your answer? I'll give you one more chance. I don't want another Mallika thing to happen again because I just assumed everyone knows 27 पे death. So I was like,
Ghanta.
Yeah.
Coronavirus.
yeah, absolutely correct. It is coronavirus. Coronavirus is the
Hint
name of
है,
this character.
correct.
ये
10
बहुत
points to
रिसेंट है
Abbas.
ये तो कुछ 2010 के बाद ही निकला था ये इशू.
हाँ, but आजकल न्यूज में बहुत है ना ये कि वो ये
हाँ.
क्या
Correct.
coincidence है and all that. I want to call master organ the great coronavirus and its fateful messages. Beautiful, 10 points to Abbas. Next question to Aakash Mehta now.
So I'm going to share a story from Hindu mythology. So basically what had happened was Nagas had enslaved the mother of Garuda. Okay. And then Firoti types, they agreed to free her if Garuda brought them Amrit. Okay. Amrit as nectar of immortality from the moon. So Garuda went through a lot of trouble, like fought with gods, brought the nectar to the snakes. But just before they could drink it, it was in a pot, yeah, aisa kuch, Indra came, Indra swooped in and drank all the nectar. Nagas got really desperate and they tried to lick the drops of the Amrit that fell on the grass. Okay, this is the story. Now the question is, what peculiar characteristic did this lend to the Nagas? Or the other way to ask this question is, what is something whose mythological origin story is this? Okay, that's the question. Take your time, go through it.
I'm sorry, what did you summarize here? What is it that the mythological story is this for?
Mythological origin story of what phenomenon, so that so to speak.
Okay.
For example, बोलते हैं ना गिलहरी के पीछे इसलिए उंगली है क्योंकि राम जी ने उसके पीठ पे ऐसे कर दिया था श्रीलंका क्रॉस करने के लिए. So what? So this is a mythological explanation of what?
I mean, वो लोग का एक ही पावर है ना मेन तो कि वो लोग नाग से इंसान और इंसान से नाग बन सकता है तो वही पावर रहेगा.
नहीं, but no, मैं एक और चांस देता हूँ to improve that this is the answer is not mythological. The answer is something that is like very scientific and is common. But this is the mythological explanation of that thing. Like I said, if someone asks you कि गिलहरी के पीछे ऐसे काला क्यों रहता है ऐसे धागा, तो उसका कुछ scientific explanation भी होता होगा. But हमारे myth के हिसाब से ये है कि राम जी ने उसको ऐसे शाबाशी दिए हुए कि the गिलहरी was trying to help.
Because why is their tongue split in two?
Yeah, that is the answer I was looking for. The explanation for forked tongue of snakes. Okay, forked tongues of snakes.
Nice.
So the origin story is that इनका normally जीभ होता था, but वो ऐसा घास इतने sharp थे और वो अमृत चाटने के लिए ऐसे ऐसे कर रहे थे, तो वो फैल गया basically. 10 points to Aakash. Next, direct to Vaibhav. Which science fiction fantasy franchisee icon wrote the introduction for The Joker, a visual history of the Crown Prince of Crime, by this writer called Daniel Wallace in 2011. Now, there are two important hints here. One, there are two halves. One half is where you have to think of an iconic science fiction franchisee and someone from that franchisee. And the other half is the other universe where the Joker is a thing, right? So between these two universes, there's one like big common name. Who are we talking about? Who is this person?
This is a person, right?
Yeah, this is a person.
Yeah, I just know one name in it. I don't know much. Stanley is all I know. That's what I guess.
Not Stanley. Going to Mallika.
Which science fiction fantasy franchise icon wrote the introduction for the Joker? So it's a science fiction franchise का icon, not ये जो Joker वगैरह का जो universe है.
दोनों में है ये. That's why मतलब ये question इसलिए important है कि ये जो नाम है ये दोनों में some way associated है. Science franchise वाले में तो icon है ही है. दूसरे वाले में भी there is some connection, like proper.
And
connection.
can I ask you, this person is not necessarily a writer, right? Or is this person a writer?
अभी
वो तो
Vaibhav has taken a guess, so unfair if I
Okay, okay, okay. Um, science fiction icon.
अरविंद केजरीवाल तो नहीं है मल्लिका फॉर श्योर.
Okay.
डॉक्टर हर्षवर्धन हो सकते हैं. Okay, no.
Before we go there,
वो तो चैरियट पे उड़ के चले गए.
you have a guess, Mallika?
साइंस फिक्शन आइकॉन. वो किसने बनाई थी? Is it Stanley Kubrick?
Not Stanley Kubrick. Going to Abbas.
Okay.
I think it's the voice of the Joker. It's Mark Hamill.
Yes.
From,
Great answer. It is Mark Hamill.
yeah.
10 points to Hamill. Mark
And
Hamill.
he was in Star Wars.
Yeah.
Star Wars.
Yes.
Yes.
Icon,
So,
Luke Skywalker, and
hint
then-
था ना between two universes, which is DC
Why-
and
why
stuff.
that-
क्या
ये
बात
back-
है, क्या बात है.
Just combine them. The only name you can think of is Mark Hamill. Great
मैंने
answer.
मेरा ये रेडी भी रखा था इनकेस अब्बास मिसेस इट, मैं विजुअल एड के साथ दिखाने वाला था कि ये रहा मार्क हैमिल.
अरे नहीं तो visual aid के लिए let me and Aakash bhai divide the points.
10 points to Abbas. Next, direct to Aakash.
Yes.
Cricket question. Chiteshwar Pujara scored 202 of 525 balls against Australia in March 2017, which made him the Indian batsman to have faced most balls in a test innings. Whose record from 2004 did he better? Not much to explain, very direct question.
हाँ हाँ हाँ. 2004 का रिकॉर्ड तोड़ा. 2004 में तो मैं ये यही प्रॉब्लम है, पता है 2007 के पहले का क्रिकेट अपना थोड़ा वीक है. हाईएस्ट रन्स 2017 का सीरीज तो बहुत गांड फड़ता मेरे को याद है. ये मैच भी बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट था और ये इसलिए बहुत ज्यादा लाइक आई रिमेम्बर दिस सीरीज. नाउ इट्स ऑल कमिंग बैक टू मी. ये सारा ही सही है, मेरे को पता है, पर मैं ये मोमेंट लेके एक दो फैक्ट्स तुम्हें दे दूं कि ये सीरीज हमारा पहला विन था ऑस्ट्रेलिया में और ये बहुत इमोशनल विन था हम सबके लिए. और इसलिए आज तक मैं बोलता हूँ ऋषभ पंत को खेलना तो आता है बिकॉज ऑफ दिस सीरीज. However, Pujara broke the record of the wall, dude. He broke Dravid's record from 2004.
Rahul Dravid
Correct.
scored 270, faced 495 balls, which was the last record to have faced most balls in an innings. Great answer. Aakash gets 10 points. Next direct comes to Vaibhav. Kanhai is a former cricketer from Guyana who represented West Indies in 79 Test match. Considered to be one of the greatest batsmen of the 60s. A major tribute to him came from Indian legend Sunil Gavaskar in 1976. Okay, so Dash Kanhai is a famous, like, legendary West Indian cricketer. Great, one of the best batsmen of the 60s. But Gavaskar gave him a tribute, very unique and major tribute in life, by doing something in 1976. What are we talking about?
Did he use the bat that this guy used to use, or wrote his name on his bat?
No, nothing to do with his bat. Going to Mallika.
I don't know this.
Okay, passing to Abbas.
Actually don't know what tribute he gave. I know the name of the cricketer. It's Rohan Kanhai, the cricketer.
So what do you think Sunil Gavaskar did in 1976 as a tribute to Rohan Kanhai?
Oh fuck! Oh fuck!
I can think.
यार
right?
इतना react मत कर यार.
अच्छा ठीक है यार.
मैं चुपचाप कब का बैठा हूँ, जब से पूछा है तब से मेरे को आता है. देखो मल्लिका चिल.
हाँ, okay, I got it. पर वो अच्छा, I don't know. 1976 में पैदा हुआ है क्या रोहन गावस्कर?
Rohan Gavaskar is correct. 10 points to Abbas. Named his son.
हाँ तो ऐसा रिएक्ट नहीं करने का ना मल्लिका.
मल्लिका, thank
But
you.
रोहन किसका
हाँ
नाम
मतलब
होता है वहाँ पे?
it was a matter of time. वो थोड़े 2 मिनट बाद कर ही लेता.
और ये क्रेडिट भी मेरी फैमिली को जाता है क्योंकि मेरी माँ का नाम मल्लिका है, the Muslim version of Mallika.
I know. I know.
Rohan Kanhai named his son Rohan after him. In fact,
I have no idea.
Gavaskar wanted to pay a tribute to 3 of his favorite cricketers, Rohan Kanhai, ML Jasimha, and Gundappa Vishwanath. So he initially wanted him to be named Rohan Jai Vishwa, but like
Rohan is such a common Indian name. Like you'd never think that anyone would name their kid Rohan as a tribute to somebody.
ये एक्चुअली बहुत रिसेंटली रिवील हुआ था, ये पॉडकास्ट में आया था
Oh.
गौरव कपूर के पॉडकास्ट में, इसलिए आई थिंक ये क्वेश्चन वहां से आया है.
रोहन कनाई क्रिकेटर पता था मुझे.
गौरव कपूर के पॉडकास्ट से मुझे सिर्फ ये इन्फो मिली है कि राम के छोले भटूरे पसंद है विराट कोहली. That's all I remember.
Rohan Kanai really helped out Gavaskar on his first tour. Gavaskar was sucking और Kanai was the only, तो तभी वो the African origin and Indian origin players ना, वो लोग का बहुत सीन होता था. West Indies team.
To West Indies, you're saying?
No, he is Indian origin from Guyana.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, Indians went as contract laborers to West Indies.
Correct.
There are a lot of like
there are lots of Indians. Yeah.
There's too many Indian origin names.
Yeah. Sunil Narayan, dude.
Yeah. So Shiv Narayan Chandrapal.
Yeah.
Chandrapal. Yeah.
So yeah, Rohan Gavaskar is correct. Abbas. This is the third Gavaskar question in this tournament, and just like if in case anyone thinks it's something to do with cricket, all three questions have been non-cricketing questions.
Yeah.
There was a tiebreaker question in the quarterfinal, which was about how he got misplaced as a kid. Second question was about his film career yesterday in quarterfinal 8, and this is about another non-cricketing thing.
Sunil Gavaskar had a film career?
Yeah, he did a Marathi movie in 1980, did a special appearance in a movie called Malamal with Naseeruddin Shah.
Oh.
This right now is turning out to be a very, very interesting quiz with 3 questions to go. There is a tie at the top right now with Aakash on 50 and Abbas also on 50. Next, direct to Aakash. Okay. Aakash, once upon a time, H.J. Whiteley arranged to buy 500 acres of land in California. Okay. According to an entry in his journal, one day in 1886, Whiteley was standing at the peak of a hill when a man came by with a wagon carrying wood. The man stopped to say a few polite words. Small talk हो रहा था दोनों के बीच में. And then when Whiteley asked कि क्या चल रहा है, क्या कर रहे हो, he said he was dashing wood. So dash is a verb. This inspired Whiteley to name his land something, X. Okay. Identify what Whiteley called his land.
He was carrying wood, moving wood, transporting wood, hauling. Hollywood.
That is correct. 10 points to Aakash. He named his land Hollywood because he said he was hauling wood. Hollywood, this is the land that Whitley had. Hollywood is correct. And now Aakash is on 60, Abbas on 50 with 2 more questions to go. Next, direct to Vaibhav. Vaibhav, this is for you. New York Times is known to publish a special kind of crossword puzzle in which select squares have more than one correct letter answer. More than one correct answer. For example, black Halloween animal could be both bat or cat. Okay, that's a hint. Yielding 2 different but perfectly correct puzzles. As of now, there have been only 13 instances, only 13 such puzzles have been published in the history of time, because it's very, very difficult to create such puzzles in a crossword. Okay, they're very, very difficult to create. Now the question is, what are these puzzles popularly known as? They're popularly known as something, a tribute to someone or to something. Just read the question very carefully. There are a lot of hints there. And tell me, what are these puzzles popularly known as?
Select squares have more than one correct answers. 13 have been created.
More than one answer, more than one correct answer. According to me, that's the biggest hint. Also, there is another very obvious hint somewhere here, but I don't want to say because
The Last Supper is all I can think from 13. And something
no, nothing
Last
with
Supper or something.
Going to Mallika. What are these puzzles popularly known as? Yeah, Mallika.
Double word.
Not double word. Going to Abbas.
Is it based on the cat?
I can't answer.
I have read about this somewhere. I just can't seem to recollect the exact word. It's Scroger or Skrondinger or Scronding, because it's not an English word.
Yeah, just okay. Finish, like just give us your final answer and then we'll decide. I'm just very conscious after what happened with the 27 club thing. Just tell me your final answer. Puzzles popularly known as.
Schrodinger's puzzle.
Yeah, I'll give it to you. Close enough. These are Schrodinger's.
Schrodinger's puzzle.
10 points to,
Schrodinger's.
10 points to Abbas. Schrodinger's puzzle is correct.
It's
Schrodinger's
also it's cat भी बोलते हैं ना इसको Schrodinger's cat.
cat is से ही ये निकला है. Schrodinger's cat.
Correct.
Like cat उसमें है. Cat जिंदा है कि मर गई है. Then more than one possibility, and that's why it's called Schrodinger's puzzle. Okay.
Correct.
So with Vaibhav and Mallika not getting this, the quiz has become really interesting.
Damn.
Now Abbas is on 60 and Aakash is on 60, and the last question is for Aakash, which means if Aakash gets it, Aakash wins. If Aakash does not get it, and it goes to Vaibhav or Mallika, and if either Mallika or Vaibhav get it, then it's a tie. We'll go to tiebreaker. And if Mallika and Vaibhav somehow don't get it and it goes to Abbas and Abbas gets it, then Abbas qualifies. Okay?
Oh God.
That's the situation. And this is the last question.
What is stress?
For Aakash. With 40% of Indians claiming to be Dash, according to some surveys, you would expect that an Indian restaurant holds this title. However, the Guinness World Record for being the oldest continuously functional Dash restaurant in the world is held by the Hits restaurant in Zurich, Switzerland. Okay, just tell me the blank. What is the blank? Both the blanks are the same. Okay, let me just repeat the main funda of the question. The main funda is 40% of Indians claim that they are Dash. So because of that stat, you think that such an Indian restaurant will hold this title, but it's not held by an Indian restaurant. In fact, according to Guinness World Record, the oldest continuously functional Dash restaurant in the world is this restaurant in Zurich, Switzerland.
Oh, food questions are beneath Aakash Mehta. क्या करें अब?
Sorry, Abbas.
Go for it, brother.
Pure veg or vegetarian?
Beautiful answer. Pure veg is I was looking for. Pure veg restaurant is correct. This is Hills in
Well done, brother.
And this is a vegetarian restaurant, and according to Guinness World Record, it's the oldest vegetarian restaurant in the world. Which brings us to the end. What a nice! This was one of the best quizzes I've done, and I don't say it after this.
I'm just glad the last question was a food question. His cockiness has been put to rest.
What? I answered it. Clearly, my cockiness has lived another day now.
Clearly, food questions are not that useless.
Love the banter.
Yeah.
And no, Mallika, I'm with you. Like this Rohan Kanai Funda I've been reading since the days of Cricket Samrat in my, like not from like Gaurav Kapoor or whatever.
Oh.
It's fine. So this was an excellent quiz in terms of the quizzing standards. I'm saying honestly, like almost every answer was cracked. Like from you get a car, which was cracked within a second, was like great, like on Aakash's part. And then disaster. Pagani, when I don't know how to pronounce it, great answer. Dwayne the Rock, like Abbas bhai got it in like few seconds.
Abba rock fan na.
Rock fan.
Sugar
Mystery Teeny by Mallika was a great derivation.
Was fabulous. Mystery. I didn't get it.
This was the moment of a lifetime for Vaibhav. I think he might be forced today, but he got Zidane finally in life. And so Zidane pe, and then Kamehameha, RMS Titanic, Deepa Karmakar, A Song of Ice and Fire, Game of Thrones, Coronavirus. They're all great answers. I mean, let's not. Sometimes when a lot of answers are done in a group, people think it's an easy quiz, you know, because as an audience, you're like, हाँ सब निकल तो रहा है. But these are all great answers, like Folk Tongue, Mark Hamill, Rohan Gavaskar, Rahul Dravid, Hollywood Schrodinger's Puzzle, Pure Veg Restaurant. This was a great quiz. So thank you guys for being a part.
Thank you, KV, for this. It's been amazing.
Thank you, KV.
Yes, man.
Thanks, KV.
We'll now just round up and make a few announcements. Right. So the second semi-finalist. In fact, both the finalists as of now are also two finalists from the first edition, Neville Shah and Aakash Mehta. Aakash wins the quiz. Let me make formal announcement. Aakash wins the quiz with 70 points.
Thank you, guys.
Was the runner-up with 60 points. Mallika was on 33. And Vaibhav is on 20.
Hey.
So 70, 60. 33 and 20.
Yes.
All the best to Aakash, and thanks a lot once more to Mallika, to Vaibhav and Abbas. Bhai. It means a lot that
Thank you, bhai.
Thank
Love
you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, you guys. Bye, you guys.